Hi, I'm Jaya Victoria, the Energy Queen. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching my channel. Today I want to tell you about some success tips and wealth tips for women specifically. Okay, I'm going to start out by saying, why am I making this video for women specifically? Well, there's a few reasons. One of the reasons is because we kind of still live in a man's world. The world is really set up to support men and the way their energy work, and so women feel very misunderstood and often get burned out and oppressed and have to deal with a whole set of different problems. And on the other hand, women also create their success in a very different way. And I'm sure if you're a woman watching this, you're aware that you manifest a lot of your success and a lot of it comes to you, and it really depends on your energy that day and how you take care of yourself. So I'm going to be explaining how you are different than a man or someone who doesn't identify as a woman. If you identify as a woman, this is for you. Okay, so as a woman, you are not just anatomically different from other genders. You are literally spiritually different. You have a different spiritual setup. You have a different spiritual anatomy, you could say. And just like your physical anatomy has a completely different set of rules, it's not better or worse, it's just different. It's the same with your spirit. Your spirit is completely set up in its own different way that works for itself in its uniqueness. And the way that your energy works as a woman is really key to unlocking your success and your wealth, because if you understand how your energy works, you will be able to have more of an output of value into the world. The more energy you have, the more you can give, and the more you give, the more you get. The problem with a lot of women, I'll start right out by saying this, is that you don't understand how to sustain giving the gifts you have inside of yourself to the world in a way that doesn't drain you. Because you can work really hard, but the truth is, if you hustle like a man in this world, your energy is not set up for that. So you will burn out, you will encounter problems, you will give up, you will not be able to keep going. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong, it's not because you're weak or lazy, it's because you are built differently, and you have to understand how you're built in order to basically use the machine that you are to do what you're here to do in the world. So how your energy is set up is you need to put your feminine energy first. Every human being has a unique balance of feminine and masculine energy. And in short, what feminine energy is your spirit and your energy itself. All the things that you can't see, kind of the magic of life and, that whole part. And then we have, on the other hand, your masculine energy. Yes, you do have masculine energy, and that's all your action taking, and that's all, the scheduling and everything that you can see, the physical world. And so the way that your energy works as a woman is you need to put your feminine first, because if you don't have energy inside, if you don't, another really big part of the feminine is just being present. If you aren't present, if you're not eating and drinking and sleeping enough, if you the feminine also governs pleasure. So if you're not doing things you love and you're not happy and you're not taking care of yourself, and you're not dressing up every day and doing makeup and having fun with your earrings and stuff, if you aren't doing those things, then you literally won't have energy to work. And if you want to operate as a highly successful woman in this world, you absolutely have to have a lot of feminine energy first. And once you have your feminine energy strong, what happens is it naturally bridges with your masculine. It is not possible for you to have too much feminine energy if you identify as a woman. It is just not a thing, because your feminine always bridges with your masculine. And one of the ways that she does that is she gives you genius ideas. That's one way that she bridges with the masculine. So let's say that you take a few days off and you're like, I'm going to build my feminine energy. I really need to do that. I recommend, if you can take 3 days or a weekend. But I think 3 days is good, especially if you're feeling burned out. That's a really good set of time. And feminine energy is basically made up of 4 ingredients. The first one I mentioned, which is presence. You have to be eating, drinking, sleeping. You have to literally be here. Pleasure. You need to take care of yourself, have fun, do things you like, eat things you like, just enjoy, have some joy in your life. The third is self-value. So you have to literally take care of yourself, take care of your boundaries. If you want to learn how to set boundaries, I have a 5-minute video that can help you. I'll link that in the description. You can go watch that. And you need to be taking care of your self-value, your boundaries, feeling good about yourself, protecting yourself. And also the fourth is your purpose. If you're not following your purpose, your soul just will feel drained all the time because you're not doing what energizes it, what it's here to do, what brings it to life. So those are the 4 ingredients of feminine energy. It's not just hair and makeup. It's not just sleeping and taking baths. Those are the 4 aspects of it that you can build each one. And each one of those, pick any of them, that's going to really build your feminine energy. It's not about being like, a Kardashian or Marilyn Monroe and trying to imitate anybody. Like hair and makeup, jewelry, that's all feminine because those are only things you can enjoy in the present. It's about presence. So your own expression of presence and pleasure and, your self-value, taking care of yourself, doing good things for yourself, taking care of your space, meditating, making sure you feel good, keeping people in your life that support you, and also following your purpose. That one is really important too. That will give you energy. So when you put your focus on all these things, let's say you take 3 days and you're like, I'm going to focus on how am I doing in those 4 areas? You can literally ask yourself that. And if you do that, your energy will start to change and you will start to honestly get ideas, because your feminine doesn't exist in a vacuum. She will always bridge with your masculine. So she will give you ideas. She'll say, hey, this is what you need to be doing. Or, hey, did you ever think of doing this? Or, it's time to do this. A lot of times you'll just feel in your spirit, I need to do this thing right now. It's a good time for me to do this. And your feminine is your spirit, supernatural knowledge. So your feminine knows the best timing to send that email, to send that message. She will just tell you and give you that insight, because that's the best timing to do that based on, things that you can't see with your eyes. So your feminine is super genius and helps you have a lot of success in so many ways. And so she doesn't just exist on her own. You don't have to worry about, I'm too lazy or I'm not getting anything done. Even though it can be really triggering and difficult to go through that, I would recommend trying really hard, at least for 3 days, to build your feminine energy. And it doesn't mean you have to ignore everything, but really set aside some time to try to build that, because we're just not used to even having that as a priority in the world we live in. But the truth is, the way this society is built and set up and the norms is for men. It's not for us. So we have to create our own way. You have to actually choose to do this and build it into your life as a new lifestyle that will support you. And this is about your success. You deserve that. So yeah, you start to bridge and you'll be taking action before you know it. You're going to get organized. You're going to be looking around you get present enough, you'll start looking around the place you live like, I should vacuum. Well, there you go. Now you're actually doing some masculine action that will improve your life. Oh, I need to do this, or I need to get that done. And you're going to have so much more energy to do these things. And you're going to be doing things that matter to you. And you're going to be having aha moments and insights like, oh, you know what? I had this problem and now I have the solution that just popped into my head. I don't even know where it came from. Because your feminine wants you to be doing well above all else. Your feminine is like fights for you, and your not only your survival but your happiness. So building your feminine connects you with this super intelligent, supernatural part of yourself that can give you answers, and that is built into your energy, and that is the way that you are designed. It's to put your feminine first, and then she will bridge with your masculine, and then you can carry out all the genius plans and ideas. And while you're doing that, that becomes a beautiful dance between them, and then it becomes a new lifestyle, a new way of living. And I really think that if you are the type of woman who wants to be like a CEO and you want to have like, you have big dreams, you have big things, you want to be in charge, you want to be a leader, then it's important to activate this part of yourself. And P.S., this is what we call the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, so we have the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity. The feminine is 1/3 of that Trinity because it is the Holy Spirit. They're the same thing. What we call the Holy Spirit is feminine energy. And so this is a very divine gift inside of you, and it's God working through you. It's God supporting you. It's totally magic. And it is right there inside of you all the time. And so if you're not connected to that, it's like you're not connected to your purpose and God and what, is meant for you. And of course, you're going to feel really off. You're going to feel really tired, and you're going to feel like you're always off track because you got to get back on track with this spirit that is like so gorgeous and beautiful, and God expressing something so amazing and important through you. And I really believe a lot of the women in our time are leaders and need to be leaders, and we need to understand how we function so that we can function at high levels, have a high output of work and things that we do and gifts that we're sharing with the world without draining ourselves and without fooling ourselves that we have to be like a man and do what men do and that's what's going to work for us. Listen, you can work hard as a woman, but you cannot hustle in the same way that a man does. For men, it's actually the opposite, just to give you a glimpse into that. Men need to put their masculine first. They need to work, hustle, schedule, logic, all the things that the world tells us to do. Get up, go to the gym, have a smoothie, get on your computer, work all day. Like, that works if you're a man. But if you're a woman, that doesn't work at all. It'll totally drain you. So for women, it very much is a totally different story. And as a woman, especially when you're creating wealth, what you're doing, and I know a lot of women feel this, and I want to speak on this, is that you have inside of you, especially as a woman, a blueprint for wealth. Like, you are literally given gifts that will bring wealth into your life experience to support you, because we live in a world where money is the thing that we trade. So, okay, you need that to eat, to survive, and to thrive. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, that is one of God's favorite ways to bless you. So it's not bad. And I actually believe it's always trying to come to you. God's always trying to bless you with money, but we don't always let it in because we have a lot of issues around it and negative beliefs and blocks around it. But as a woman, basically you have a blueprint for the gifts that you're here to deliver to the world, the changes, the innovations. Just being you is like rebellious, basically, but in the best way, because it's going to not only nourish you and bring you resources and money and value, it's going to change people's lives who need you, who are nourished in return. So it's a really beautiful thing for you to have success. I know that you have a gift inside of you that you're here to bring. So what is that? Have you ever thought of that? And have you sort of gotten like clues about what that is? That's really important for you to start to discover and look at. What is that thing that I know is different about me that I know I could help people with, and that I would be joyful to talk to people about? Like, that would be really exciting for me, actually, to be able to do that for people and to teach them about this, or, make this change. And just because it's not here yet, it doesn't mean that you're not meant to do it. It means actually that there's a place for you. We need you. I was just watching a documentary about Martha Stewart, and that's what she did. She realized, like, with homemaking, there was this big gap where people didn't understand how, rocking it could be. Like, she was like, it can be really cool. And she just, like, filled that gap. And now we have Martha Stewart, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows Martha Stewart. But she could have not done that. She's just one woman. And I was even thinking about her and how hard she worked, and the fact that she worked with food and cooking and beauty and flowers. Like, she was able to sustain a really high level of work and masculine, action, because she was always around feminine energy. That's how important your feminine is. She was always just in the feminine world. So that's what I was going to say too, is like, as a woman, even when you are out there working, like it's important to always keep in mind your feminine, and to, you know, wear earrings and wear makeup and care about, you know, your boundaries and care about your energy and really take care of yourself constantly, with the resources you do have. And sometimes the only resource you have is time, but you can give yourself time to be present. You can close your eyes and meditate, right? Become more present. That will build your feminine. But what I was saying is, you have a blueprint inside of you for wealth. You really do. You have something that you're here to do, only you can do. It's unique, it's beautiful, it's incredible, and you should really run with it. And that is something that's going to bring you wealth. And I will say, wealth is not the same, like your idea of wealth is not the same as someone else's. In terms of actual money, like you don't need the same amount of money as someone else. It depends on where you live. It depends on how many kids you have. It depends on, you know, what feels positive to you, basically. Some people might want an apartment. Some people might want a mansion. Some people might want a little cottage on the beach. Like, wealth is, it's like you have this built-in gift, and you have this like responsive wealth that is fulfilling to you. So maybe you want to be a millionaire. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to be comfortable. And that's like the highest expression of your life. And that's awesome. It's different for all of us. So that's why there's enough for all of us. We're not competing. And it really is just like, what is the highest expression? What's the highest energy look like for you? What is that for you specifically? And your blueprint will be able to manifest that for you. And the thing is, though, your ability to translate that into something that you're sharing, it takes a lot of masculine action. You're literally, I know a lot of women who have spiritual gifts, and they have trouble translating their ability into marketing and business and actually telling people about it. And I think that, you know, all these ideas come into play, because it's like, that's what you're doing. You're bridging the feminine, the spiritual with the masculine. Even if you're not someone who works with spiritual energy, but you just have an idea, you know, you have a blueprint inside of you. That's still bridging the spiritual with the masculine. You have to bring that out of you and translate it into a book, into a movie, into, you know, whatever it is you want to do. And that's going to take a lot of masculine work. And this really is the process of bridging the feminine with the masculine. And so you have to understand that you have to build up your feminine first, and you don't worry about whether or not it's gonna bridge. It always does. That's how she works. So go into your feminine, meditate, journal, you know, create your own world. And before you know it, you're gonna have so much energy, and you're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. But don't like go here and go like, I have to do this and this and this and this and this, and you're not even connected to your spirit. That's how we get tired and burned out. Makes sense? So this is like a recipe for anti-burnout. Speaking of Martha Stewart. So also I want to say that when we're trying to bring wealth back to us in our lives, it really is because you are putting value out into the world. And what you have inside of you is invaluable. The blueprint, the gift you have inside of you is invaluable. It is highly valuable. And so if you are able to have the energy through working with your feminine, which bridges with your masculine, and putting that out there, that's how you get money. And I know I've worked with a lot of women over the past 5 years in my business, coaching, clearing their energy. And this is something that I started to hear that I thought was really fascinating. I started to hear even really high level coaches who make like, you know, 100K a year or whatever. Actually, I think I know someone, I worked with someone who made 100K in 6 weeks. And she told me that. She was like, I just want to be paid for being who I am. And I was like, I hear you. And I think you probably heard people say that. I just want to be paid for being me. I want to be paid for my energy. I want to be paid for that. And I think that desire is good, but you have to understand that that's the feminine, right? And we live in a masculinized world. Like, you have to translate it into a service. You have to translate it into something that people can buy and consume, and it makes sense. So if you want to be paid for who you are, build who you are, go into that world, get the genius ideas, play, have fun, enjoy, and imagine. And that will always give you ideas that you can't stop working on, you can't stop telling people about, you can't stop marketing. That's how they bridge. But there is a translation process. You can't just be paid for sitting and doing nothing. It's like but it will translate if you really, truly, authentically build your feminine. And it is the output of value. The output of value that you give the world is what will come back to you. And I'm going to say, I think that if you have been in the coaching industry at all, or even, in a lot of things that go on in the world, it has gotten it wrong. It has put money first, and that is very dumb. You should not be putting money first with anything that you're doing. It doesn't mean don't make smart business decisions, don't ask for money for your services, don't have boundaries. It's not any of that, but it's don't put it first. Because if you are putting money first, I want you to think about any company that you've ever bought from that put money first, that didn't put you first. They put money first. They didn't care about your experience, they cared about your money. No one likes that. And I feel like this is something the coaching industry really has gotten wrong. The truth is, you get the value back that you give. You should be focusing first. I didn't say don't focus on money at all, but first, your first priority should be translating the gift you have, the value you have, into something that is putting value in the world, because that value will come back to you. So you can start thinking about that right now. You can start thinking about, what is the value that I have? What are the gifts that I have? And how can I start translating those into something that people can buy, can consume, something that can help them? Don't worry if there's not a template for that. Even better, in fact, if there's not, because that makes you more unique. So I hope that these ideas helped you. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments. And if you would like to know how to work with me, I do free consults. I'll put my link in the description and my email if you have any personal questions that you'd like to ask. And thank you so much for watching. You got this, Queen. Bye.